According to a new Marquette University poll conducted just 1 week before Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death, nearly 67% of Americans think the Senate should hold a confirmation hearing if a Supreme Court vacancy occurs in 2020, a presidential election year. Believe it or not, this is true for people in both political parties. 68% of Republican voters think the Senate should hold hearings, and 63% of Democrat voters feel the same way. And yet, what happened in the wake of Justice Ginsburg's death? The Democrats immediately resorted to mafia tactics. Democratic pundits and Democratic elected officials threatened violence if President Trump nominates a new Supreme Court justice before Election Day. In other words, Democrat politicians don't care about representing their constituents. No. Left-wing agitators are literally threatening to burn down our country if they don't get their way. Former CNN commentator Reza Aslan tweeted, and I quote, "If they even try to replace RBG, we burn the entire effing thing down," end quote. Senator Blumenthal, who passionately supported the ridiculous Julie Swetnick accusations during the Kavanaugh confirmation, said, and I quote, "If Republicans recklessly and reprehensibly force a Supreme Court vote before the election, nothing is off the table," end quote. The radical AOC says, "We must act in unprecedented ways to tell McConnell that he is playing with fire."
And we all must act in unprecedented ways to make sure that our rights are stabilized. And to Mitch McConnell, we need to tell him that he is playing with fire.
And Democrats aren't only threatening violence. Democrats are threatening to pack the Supreme Court if they win the presidential election. They're threatening to abolish the Electoral College. They're threatening to grant D.C. statehood in order to get more votes in the Senate. Listen to Senator Chuck Schumer say it himself.
Should he add more Supreme Court justices?
Well, it will be a decision that comes to the Senate. We first have to win the majority before that can happen. But once we win the majority, God willing, everything is on the table.
In other words, Democrats are threatening to destroy our constitutional republic if Republicans don't cave to their hissy fit. If President Trump exercises his constitutional authority and nominates a new Supreme Court justice, the Democrats want to undermine our entire system of government to impose their radical leftist ideology on us instead, whether we want it or not. So let's be very clear. President Trump must nominate a new Supreme Court justice, and Democrats are showing us exactly why. Never have we needed a stalwart defender of constitutional principles more than now that the Democrats are threatening to abuse their power and govern by tyranny. By the way, the Democrats won't tell you this, but even Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself was not in favor of packing the Supreme Court.
I have heard that there are some people on the Democratic side who would like to increase the number of judges. I think that was a bad idea when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt tried to pack the court.
But that doesn't matter to the radical left. If they don't get a radical leftist judicial activist on the Supreme Court who will ignore the Constitution and instead rule according to leftist ideology, the left admits they will burn down our country, pack the court, abolish the Electoral College, and give D.C. statehood. They said so themselves.